Happy to Be Nappy show. I have a special show for you today. Here you will see my son, who is 34 years young. This is his fiance, who is Jamaican. She's going to be 32 in December. This is my daughter, and that's her son 3 years ago. This is my niece. That's my son. That's his fiance. That's me and my son and fiance 3 years ago. This is my daughter when she gave birth to her son. Now, this story thickens, the plot thickens, because my son here with my daughter's father, his grandmother, her grandmother, that's my daughter, her dad and her grandma is now deceased, so it's only three of us left. Okay, this is my son when he was younger. This is my son when he was younger. This is my son when he was younger. Model, actor, Sesame Street, the whole nine. Let's see where else. This is my daughter and her son, father, and my son, my grandson when he was born, my grandson. This is my son and his fiance in Africa. But here's the thing. This is my daughter and her father who transitioned 3 years ago, and his birthday was just this Friday. This is my son here who has done well from the age of 6 months. He was a child star model, did a lot of work. But you don't know how your children is going to, turn out. So let me just take you here. This is him at 12, and this is his resume. This is his resume. He's SAG. He's AFTRA, Disappearing Act with Wesley Snipes, Bamboozle, Good Morning America, Fox After Breakfast, New York Undercover, Sesame Street Videos, Magnificent Seven, Back in One Pieces, Hard Knock Life, Do Wop That Thing, Spanish Lullaby, and the list goes on. Okay, now the plot thickens. I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to show you my grandson right here. He is now 3. He will be 4, except on about, today is what, the 16th? In 5 days, he will be 4. This is my son when he was like 7. He was a child actor and model. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. It's a quick story. So this is my son here with my nephew, my great nephew. That's him. Okay, and now let me show you his Rasta father. This is us at the Apollo. This is us at our shop at Harlem Mart 125, directly across from the Apollo. There's my son. This is my daughter's father. He ended up getting incarcerated, but we still kept in touch with him and, made sure we was there for him. Despite his cantankerous ways, this is my son and my daughter. Shout out to the artist in LA that painted this. And this is my daughter here, my son and my great nephew, my son and my great nephew. So just to give you this a little idea, this is the whole family. My aunt, my cousins in New York. There's my grandson again with my great nieces, niece-in-law, my first cousin, my aunt, and my mom. This is my grandson when he was 1 with the feather, putting it in his hair, his little fro, and there he is now. And that's my son again, my daughter again when they was young. But here's the story. My son now has, some property, some money. And sometimes when people get money, they tend to change. Okay, this is his fiance and my daughter. They're exactly 8 years apart. Okay, this is my niece. This is my son. This is them. Okay, so what happened recently? My son was taking care of my grandson because my daughter needed help and she asked him for assistance. And as a result, my son became very possessive and was becoming a child abuser, taking my niece, which I showed you her son, Janari, and them down into the basement, calling it the Crisis Center by Blackfoot, who's a principal of the city, New York City school. Okay, this is my daughter pregnant on her baby shower with my grandson. Of course, these two were there for the birth and everything. My daughter came to New York on my mom's birthday, May 29th, to see her son in a play that my son put him in a private school. And so they did The Lion King. We went. My son has an obsession. He's a narcissist. He doesn't know how to, parent, because you don't just constantly go overboard. Now, this is the woman. This is me. That's my grandson. This is 3 years ago at my grandson's first birthday. Now, what happened was my son threw my daughter out because when my daughter was at his house and spent the night, when her son woke up and saw his mother, he went over to the covers and he pulled the cover off and he saw it was his mom. And he said, "Oh, mommy," he loves his mother. My son then says to my grandson, "You just lost your privilege to see your mother." How does that work? You take a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old that had surgery on their brain down into the basement to scream when they start getting, they have their little tantrums at 1.5 and 3. That's what they do. This is what toddlers do. So he takes them down in the basement because his dear friend and my ex Blackfoot, who's a principal of a school, says that don't call it the dungeon room, call it the crisis center. So that's abuse. You don't take children down in a New York City building and call it the crisis center. Okay? So as a result, that happened on my mom's birthday, May 29th. We went. My daughter was so upset. She got kicked out 7 in the morning. And so she had to go to my cousin's house. And she came to the play. After the play, my son took us all out to eat. His fiance right here wasn't there. Fiance. This is them in Africa. Fiance. So now, after my son literally throws my daughter out, throws her clothes out in front of her son, they have cameras in his building, it's very traumatizing. After that, my daughter goes to my cousin's house. She didn't see the first part of the play, which was at 9, but she made the 1 o'clock. She was pretty upset. After that, we went out to eat. Me, my cousins, all of us left. His fiance watches out her window on 140th and 7th Avenue. Across the street is the African restaurant that we went to. She sees us leave. She goes and she confronts my daughter. My cousin's boyfriend was there, and the sister of Mother Nature, who worked at my shop on 125th Street, across from the world famous Apollo Theater, was there waiting for her accessorized. She heard them having words. This woman sat there 4 hours with my daughter conversing until she finally got up and punched her in the face. She punched her so hard that she burst her lip and her nose was bleeding. But my daughter had a gig. She got picked to do the Miami swimwear, but because of that, she couldn't do it. My daughter did not press charges on Yolan. She just charged it to the game. She did not call ACF or DCF on my son, who literally put her out, who has been taking my grandson down in the basement, having him scream, having a 3-year-old take out the garbage, threw out his potty at 3 and gave it to my niece. Now, who gives a used potty to someone? Okay, you just buy him a new one. You just got $328,000 because your father, who I showed the roster, who looks nothing like that, he looks older than my parents, just sold his house in the Bronx where he had it in. It was a whole drama with his 2 brothers, just a lot of drama that he's been creating. He has money, but obviously he's not happy with her. So as a result, they talk. She punched her in the face. She goes now to the house around the corner and tells my son that you better go check on your sister. We had a fight. So my son comes there. He sees my daughter's face. She goes to his house. My grandson says, Mommy, what happened to your face? Who did that to you? Mind you, this is the woman that's supposed to be her sister-in-law because they are engaged. Okay, they are engaged, and they're supposed to be sister-in-laws now. They haven't got married. They've been engaged for a while. So now, last Monday, my son makes a trip to Miami after my niece, right here, who has her baby, I showed you, Janari, now he's 2, and my daughter went to get my grandson because my son was talking about going to call DCF on my daughter because he wants custody of my grandson. Now, mind you, him and his fiance, they don't want children. But he's been making my grandson at 3 take down the garbage, taking him down into the basement to scream, which now he's going to be 4 in 6 days. The therapist says he has to have therapy because when you make children scream like that, what it builds up anger. Okay, that's a part of abuse. That's child abuse. My daughter didn't go and get him locked up. She just charged it to the game, took her son back to Miami. The only reason he got my daughter because her and her son father right here were going through changes. Okay, they broke up. He has another woman, the whole 9. But now they're working together as a team. Okay, so after that, my son comes on Monday, makes false allegations about my daughter after she asked him to take care of him till she gets her new place because the place she was living with had mold, it was flooding, and so instead of paying her rent, she decided to move out. Now, if you can't trust your brother, who can you trust? Now, mind you, I gave my son about $5,000 in 2014 to get his first apartment on 117 between 5th and Lenox Avenue, his first condo. He has now 6 properties. You couldn't help your sister in her dilemma, and you just got $328,000 on a selling your father's house in the Bronx for $585,000. And so you're going to be vicious and malicious and do this to your sister. So what he doesn't know, he called on me 12 years ago to have me locked up for my daughter. I didn't get locked up. They threw it out. My daughter told the truth. He even went to the police for his 2 brothers on his dad's side about their house, and the cops in New York said, are you crazy? We got real crimes, buddy. Like, we ain't filing nothing about nothing. But it's your spirit, your heart. You're not a good person. If you do this to your mother, that I had him in the 8th month, I risked my life, okay, for you. And this is how you treat me. For this woman here, that she's living with you and her mother, they're Jamaican, they're living with you, and you turn on me and your sister, and you're so adamant about getting my grandson because it's obvious you only want him for one thing, tax purposes, because you have all this money and you don't know. You have no tax write-off, but it's just so low because you was right here at the water birth. This is the water birth that my daughter had with my grandson 4 years ago. And 4 years later, look what's happening. This woman punched her in the face. My daughter didn't press charges. It was assault. She didn't do anything. Okay? She came back July 3rd and got her child after he was telling me that he was going to call DCF on my daughter. I told him, we're not calling DCF on you, Department of Children and Families. You've been abusing my grandson. I mean, you threw away his stroller at 2 when she let him last year stay with you for the summer. Who throws a 2-year-old umbrella stroller away? Ras Jawara Alimayu, Uark, to make him walk 44 blocks to go visit my aunt in the nursing home. Then you gave away his potty. As a result, on your big toilet, he smashed his penis and he was injured. Okay, you never took a parenting class. You think because you went to college and you got a bachelor's degree, that makes you a parent. No, My daughter, when she was pregnant with her son, she took parenting classes and got a degree, a parenting certificate. You have to be a parent. She pushed this baby out naturally, water birth, her first child, and this is how you pay her back. So as a result, people like you, that's narcissists, need to be called out. You got all this money and all, and this is what you want to do to your family. Blood is thicker than mud, Ras Jawara, and you're going to reap what you sow. You went down to Miami and filed a false claim, okay? And it's going to come back to you. So I want to keep this as a record to show when it happens, I can make reference back. Here you are with your fiance in Africa. Here you are in Africa with your fiance. Here you are in Africa with your fiance. And this is the same fiance that punched my daughter in her face because you threw her out your house, literally picked her up, and your building has cameras, just like your building has cameras when your fiance was in the African restaurant and she got up and punched her with all her might. Okay? Who does that? Nobody in the history of our family, sisters-in-laws, ever done such a thing. I don't know. It's because you took the jab in Senegal is the reason why you're acting crazy, but you don't do that. Karma is real. And karma is going to come for you and come for her. Don't watch the beginning of the movie, Yolan. Watch the ending because you will not have a happy ending. And know where you, Ras Jawara Ali Mayu, you are. I was born with an enlarged heart. I sacrificed my life to have you, for you to do this to your baby sister. This is your bloodline. You came from the same womb, you and her. Okay? And if her and her mother sit up there and let you do that to my daughter, your sister, imagine my niece Missy cried like a baby when she found out because he was abusing her son. So I just want to say in this short video, I had to make it. The Spirit told me to do it because our ancestors are rising up against you. You will reap what you sow. You will not get away with this. This is just preposterous, and you will see for yourself. The Most High Creator does not like ugly, and you will not get away with this. We just have to stop as a people, our sisters and cousins are over some stupid political campaign, who's running. I don't care about Trump, and I don't care about the man, Kamala Harris. All I care about is our family. This is our land. This is our land, okay? This is our land, okay? We are colonized, and we've been prisoners of wars, and this is my son again right here. I forgot this little picture, okay? I've taken great care of him, did the best for him, and this is his payback, not looking out for his mother or his sister. But I will tell you this. I will definitely tell you this. His father is the culprit, Rasta Imposter, cultural fraud. Oh, Lord, he looks nothing like this Ozzy in Miami. He's all gray, tooth in the front missing, smelling, looking like a derelict. But because he's using money to manipulate, and money is not real. If you look on that debt tender, it's a debt tender. This is at the world famous Apollo Theater. It will tell you that it's just a debt tender. This is my son at 6 months. We did a photo shoot. Okay, I've always been there for my son. Whenever he needed me, I was there. So how dare you? How dare you turn around and do this to your sister? In closing, there's a lot of families going on doing this evil wickedness. Just hold tight. Prayer is power. Call on your ancestors and your prayer warriors and know that you will have the victory. You just don't do that wicked evilness to your own family. That's him and my daughter. This is a painting from LA. Shout out to my peeps in LA that love doing pictures of us. And that's from another picture that they took. And this is my son at 6 months. We did a shoot for something. He's in the Hard Knock Life. He's in Back in One Pieces with Aaliyah. He's in Lauryn Hill, doo-wop, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. There he is here again. There he is at Holy Child Daycare in Reno, Nevada. We've lived everywhere. There's the whole clan. My dad, who's going to be 82, and let's see, 4 days. The 20th, my grandson is behind him. That's my whole family right there. That's the tribe. And these are my great-grandparents. This is my grandparents, my mother and father's parents. And this is my father's, my great-grandmother and great-grandfather. We are American Indian. We don't do that kind of stuff. We just don't. But money will show you who people really are. And I made sure the Spirit said, make that video. This little baby had surgery at 1.5. You taking a baby down in the basement to scream because they're crying, having a fit, and you putting fear in them. You look at the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. I see narcissists, and you're going to reap what you sow. You're no different from these serial killers. A child abuser is a child abuser. You do not mistreat people and think that your money cannot save you from what's going to happen by the Creator, the ancestors, and the Most High. So I will leave you with this. When you dig a ditch for somebody, Jawara, Ras Jawara Alimayu Yuak, you better dig one for yourself because you going down, buddy. You are going down. I birthed you. I carried you in my womb for 8 months. I had you the day I turned 8 months. I have an enlarged heart. They went up in my heart at 3 months and at 9 years old. I risked my life to have you, and you turn around and treat me and your sister like garbage, like we're nothing, and you making false allegations like you did to me 12 years ago. And now 12 years later, you're doing it to your sister. You got mental issues. And I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray that you get it together and do the right thing. Because like in the movie Purple, The Color Purple, until you do right by me and your sister, Takima Zawadi Jasi, a.k.a. Chiki Chiki Koi Ni Takomi, nothing good is going to happen for you. Nothing. And you will not have a happy ending with Yolon. That part. So you better get it together, because as the goddess and the chieftainess I am, I'm calling down all the ancestors, thunder and lightning, strike down this evil, wicked son of mine that's doing evil things. Make him wake up and smell the coffee and do the right thing. You are a child abuser. You are abusing children. You had a 3-year-old. 3-year-olds taking out the garbage. A 3-year-old does not need to be near a garbage. That's not what a toddler does. It's obvious you don't know the first thing, but you think you know everything, and you don't know now. Okay? And you will reap what you sow. Peace and natural hair grease, much love and light. The wicked shall perish, and the humble and the meek shall inherit the land.